Alright, getting my gloves on here and got a beautiful morning, low 50s, sun's just coming up, and I get to spend the day riding across the beautiful prairie states known as Kansas and Nebraska. Pretty pumped about that. Not so much. Got about a mile of gravel to start off with, which is always pleasant. Trying to make it to eastern Colorado. It'll be a long day in the saddle. Hopefully everything rolls along fine here. I'm gonna be gone for over a week, so packed everything including the kitchen sink. Alright, let's see what the spots do here. Whew, that's a big difference. See if I can blind some oncoming cars this morning. A couple of months ago I put on the Baja Design S1 spots. One of my factory spots had burnt out. I was looking for a replacement that would fit in the housing that the previous ones came in. I like the look of it, the metal or the aluminum around them. So found these S1s, and obviously high intensity, nice color. Got some picking up of the ditch here, but certainly in front of me they're very bright. I also replaced my factory headlights with an upgrade, and it's a better color light as well. Alright, here's the highway. So, just made it into Kansas, and the wind is so bad that my gas mileage is horrible, and I'm fighting. Every time a truck goes by, I just get blasted with the wall of wind. My shield has even popped up a couple of times. The wind blasts are so bad. Now, good old Kansas, right? I wouldn't be feeling the same issues if I was on a 4-lane road, but you know, you just don't get to see the country, the interstates. But a day like today, I don't know, this wind is beating me up pretty good. So other than the wind and poor gas mileage, I've actually seen some pretty nice scenery. It's eastern Kansas is nice. No idea if anything will be picked up over this crazy wind, but holy smokes, it has been a battle all day with this wind. It's gotten significantly worse in Kansas. So, I figured it out for you, Kansas. If you would just plant a tree or two somewhere, maybe you wouldn't have this crazy wind. But my goodness, no wonder people complain about riding across the prairies. Start of day 2. Made it 13 hours yesterday to Sterling, Colorado, and decided for a hotel because I was shot. Today I will cross into Wyoming in a couple hours and then spend most of my day in Wyoming and then get to my campsite tonight in Utah. Brisk morning, 51 degrees, so pretty close to what it was in Missouri yesterday morning. So a little chill, but not real bad. Today I've got lots of blue sky, but I've got the Tragically Hip playing Wheat Kings in my helmet comm. And that's another thing, my helmet comm battery, I've got a Cardo Pack Talk Bowl. The battery on that thing lasted 12 hours yesterday, which I thought was ridiculous. Amazing. So kudos to you, Cardo. That was a surprise. One of the cool things about bikes, I think, that you don't get with driving a car is just random people coming up and talking to you. Like, I had a guy this morning that, you know, if I was getting into a car, there's no way he would have said a word to me, but you know, he tells me, hey, nice bike, I was checking it out last night, I think it's really cool, is it comfy, and you know, all that stuff, and you know, it's just kind of neat that random people talk to you. But yeah, that's one of the things I think is really cool about riding a bike. Everybody's interested, from little kids to old people. So once I got into Colorado last night, the wind started to slow down, which I was very, very, very grateful for. I had about 50 miles of grooved pavement, and I was like, seriously, after all of this, I get grooved pavement? It just wasn't my day. So unfortunately today I've got a lot of interstate riding, just because that's the only option for a lot of Wyoming. And so whatever it is, what it is, I'm assuming those roads will be halfway decent. I've been told that the wind can howl around Laramie, Wyoming, so I'm hoping that today is a non-windy day. I'm digging all this cowboy westerny stuff that I'm already seeing here. I grew up in the West, but in Western Canada, and I haven't spent a ton of time in the Western US, so really looking forward to spending a week out here and just seeing the sights that I've just never seen before. There we go, on I-80, heading into Wyoming. And the wind is back. It's coming from the west today. And so when these tractor trailers pass me, it's a pretty good amount of turbulence. Got probably 4 hours on this highway, something like that, and then heading onto US 30 after that. Can now easily say Wyoming is by far the toughest place I have ever ridden. The wind is just ferocious. I passed several signs, digital signs overhead that said wind gusts 40 plus miles per hour. Of course, the winds are shifting and truckers pass you and they go flying all over everywhere. So it is just a hard ride. I feel like all I ever do is gripe, but it is tricky. Even getting gas there, the wind gusts were pushing my parked bike around. Yesterday, going in on a 2-lane road, when a tractor trailer would pass me with the wind, a few times my face shield started to blow up. Today, without that happening, the wind is so hard that my face shield has tried to blow up a few times. Standing here at this light, the bike's wanting to get pushed over. I just talked to a couple of bikers from Montana at the gas station, and he said, riding a motorcycle in wind like this is just like riding a sheet of plywood down the highway. So, good time. That guy said it seems like every time he and his wife ride across Wyoming, it's like this. I'm jealous. He gets to get off the interstate and go north at this point, back towards Montana. I've got 150 more miles of interstate. I've had to been riding in a tuck position to try and keep out of the wind so my face shield doesn't fly up. So it'll be a tiring day again. So I am still in Wyoming, getting up close to, I think, a place called Rock Bridge. or I'll stop for some gas, even though I don't necessarily need some. I'm ready for a stretch. The wind has not been near as bad. It's still windy, still blowing me around pretty good, but it's not been anywhere near like it was earlier in the day. And starting to see some different terrain as well, which is nice. And I'm wondering if this little bit of roll that I'm in is helping to slow down that crazy wind that I was in the high plains back there. See that angle of the rock right there? I can just hear my grade 8 science teacher talking about faulting and folding of rocks in geology. Some nice big buttes off there in the distance. Everybody likes a nice big butte. Rock Springs, not Rock Ridge. So I'll pull into Rock Springs up here. It's pretty out here. I don't know if it's pretty. It's interesting. It kind of reminds me of parts of Texas, like West Texas, the sagebrush and stuff. I don't know how have I ridden across Texas and not experienced wind like this, but in Wyoming it just blows. But pretty desolate, not much out here. I don't know what the population of Wyoming is, but I'm guessing it's not all that massive. So this is windy Wyoming, wide open. I guess the mountains pick up more to the north, but it's been high plains basically and ridges all day for me, and the wind just cooks across them. I'm on highway or US 30 more miles to go to my destination, and just needed a stretch. I think it's kind of funny, there's a sign literally right there, penalty for litter $750, and there's garbage everywhere. These people even just tossed out their garbage cans, and we're like, you know what, this looks like a good place for it. This road would be really enjoyable, but it's just so windy that I just feel like I'm always worrying about that more than I am enjoying the road. I'd like to tell you that the factory seat is super comfy, but my butt is over it. Again, all I'm doing is complaining. So you see how straight that road is? That is not at all what I was expecting in Wyoming. I just kind of thought up and down and all around, and yeah, not so much. I've seen a ton of antelope though, which is kind of cool. I don't see those typically. And then just, you know, the fact that it's all new is very cool as well. Lake is really pretty. It's Bear Lake. I'll be camping on here tonight. Sailboat out there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Sometimes you look at stuff like this and you think, how can there not be a creator? You know, like it's just too pretty for it to be all just random chance. Just gorgeous. Look at this walking trail here and the whole deal. Tell you what, Utah, you don't suck so far. The land of Mormons and honey, or something like that. Well, this has been a beautiful, nice finish to a long couple of days. I am very excited about the next few days of winding through this state, seeing the sights. I have flown into Salt Lake for conferences in the past, but I've never been out and seen the sights and monuments and all of that stuff. So I'm only about 5 minutes from Idaho, and after I get unpacked I'm gonna swing up there and just dip my tire on the Idaho side, just to say that I've been to Idaho. I have a map, an old Harley map an old buddy of mine gave me, that when he was a hog member, they'd send him these atlases every year, and he used to give me his old ones. I always fill in the states that I've ridden through and the highways that I've ridden on, and it's just nice to flip back through it every once in a while and see where I've been and remember the trips that I did the rides on and some of the cool things about them. Alright, looking for a KOA up here somewhere. And there we are. There's my riding companions for the next few days. So thinking back about this trip out to Utah, it's been about a month and a half now since I've gotten back, and you know, it was a tough trip to get out there. But I'm sure, you know, you're thinking, oh, poor guy, just whines nonstop. But he had to ride his motorcycle. Boo-hoo. Well, yeah, I hear you on that. I would give myself grief too. But the ride across Kansas was tricky. It was windy, and there were some uncomfortable moments for sure. But compared to Wyoming, it was nowhere near as bad as that trip across Wyoming. So spoiler alert here, when you live in the state next to Kansas and you go west, chances are you got to come back through Kansas when you're coming back home. And so you'll see some more footage from Kansas here when I get videos processed here over the coming weeks. But the trip across Wyoming, man, it was so windy that it literally made it so it was a challenge for me to keep the bike on a straight path forward. I was getting blown all over everywhere. Obviously, the truckers passing me didn't help. The speed limit there is really high. At parts it was 80, but it was set based on the conditions. And so because it was so windy, I think the limit that day was 75. And which I was not going. I felt that was way too fast for me under those conditions. But it was hard because all I could feel was the wind. All I could think about was, you know, don't wreck. And I know there's all sorts of beautiful things and great things about Wyoming that I didn't experience going across I-80 on a really windy day. But at some point in my life, I'd love to go back to Jackson Hole and go skiing. I've never been up to Yellowstone. You know, so many things in Wyoming that I'd love to see that I didn't get to experience in this trip that are great. I'm sure of it. I've seen pictures, I've heard people talk, but you know, the part that I experienced on the day that I experienced it, it was challenging. And so Wyoming, I don't hate you. Just was not in the best of spirits on that day. I've done many trips over the years, and I'm continuing to venture out and explore new areas, fill in my map, my old Harley map, and you know, now with the vlogging materials, I'm able to document some of these trips that I'm going on. So, you know, part of filming these things is it's fun for me to look back on and remember the day that I was taking the trip. And I'm almost doing play-by-play as I'm going some of the times. And so it's you know, again, my mindset at the time, whether it's a difficult time or a really pretty area that I'm going through or a great ride or whatever it is, I'm kind of just keeping up with what's going on. The other thing about me filming these rides is, you know, it's yeah, it takes some money to do it. You know, obviously that's one of the things, and it takes some time to be able to get out on the road and do it. But it just takes some determination and gumption to just say, you know what, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I'm going to do it. And so part of me showing these videos is to challenge you to get out there and do what you love to do and experience the country or the continent, wherever you live, to just explore. And that's the coolest part of motorcycling to me, is meeting people and seeing things that you'd never see off the interstate.